Hi guys, it's Mishel, Deception Bytes, and today is Tuesday, October 2nd, and it's 10:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's get started. Q has posted today, but there are only a few posts, and this is going to be a very short video. And actually, I do mean that because I've said in the past that this is going to be a short video, and it turns out not to be, but this is, really, I promise. Okay, so here is the first post from today. October 2nd, and it has a picture of Reddit Premium, and beneath it it says symbolism will be their downfall. Q. Well, let's take a bigger look at this. I've made it bigger here so that it wouldn't be so blurry, that we could have at least a hope of seeing what it is Q wants us to see. Now, this is the Reddit Premium. Reddit Premium gives you an ad-free experience, special benefits, and directly supports Reddit. The more Reddit is user-supported, the freer we are to make Reddit the best it can be. That's, I guess that makes sense if you enjoy being censored. This is a great place to be if, you don't have anything to say. But if you do have something to say, don't choose Reddit because, well, we all know that they censor conservative voices. That's just a fact. And maybe now we know why. Over here, Q said that symbolism will be their downfall, and we see the symbolism. We have the pyramid here, which is made to look like an arrow, but that is clearly the pyramid with the eye, the all-seeing eye. Of course, that is indicative of the New World Order, and we have the rays of illumination coming out of it, because if you did not know this, the all-seeing eye in the pyramid is Lucifer. Many people may argue with me about that. I have done a lot, and I mean a lot of research on that. So that is a fact. And then we've got Saturn, and Saturn plays into, that looks like Saturn anyway, and that plays into the occult as well. I'm just looking here for other, I don't really see the piece of cake with the cherry on top. I don't know. I'm seeing some symbolism. There's, of course, the banker, which is interesting if you have tuned into the Mandela effect at all and read anything about that. The banker, this looks very much like the banker from the Monopoly game, the banker that I remember, but apparently now the banker no longer has the monocle. So it's interesting that we have a banker type with the monocle and the mustache, exactly like the game of Monopoly. And not sure actually if you may, because I've just mentioned it, bring this up in the comments. And I don't know what to think about the Mandela effect, but I do know there's something to it. There really is something to it. I have seen enough examples at this point. Some of the examples are ridiculous, but some of them are like mind-blowing. So if you are ever bored and have time on your hands, that's a good thing to look into, the Mandela effect. All right, now let's go on here, because that is all Q had for us in that post, and basically he was just, I think, pointing it out because Reddit has been so vocal against the Great Awakening and Q and Trump and anybody conservative. So I think that was a little poke there to say, okay, well, maybe we can see why. Now, let's go to the next one, and it says, your vote counts. And of course, in this election, it does. We will do our job to protect the vote. Will you do yours? Fight, 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 Q. Now, we've seen this before, but underneath, interestingly enough, Q has placed this. He has placed this picture here, which we've seen, and beneath he said, are you registered to vote on November 6th? And I would ask you that, are you? If not, then you should be. If you are at all able to get out and vote, please do so. And then he says these people are sick, and he leaves a link. Well, let's look at what this link is. Now, I am sure at this late of in the day that you have already heard this news, so I'm probably already preaching to the choir here because I'm quite sure you've already heard this. But envelopes sent to Mattis, Navy Chief, test positive for ricin. Yes. I guess just anything they can do at this point to disrupt, the normal day-to-day goings on in, that's what they're going to do. So 2 envelopes addressed to Secretary of Defense James Mattis and, hang on here, and Chief of Naval Operations Admiral John Richardson have initially tested positive for the deadly poison ricin at the Pentagon's mail facility, according to a report. The packages, which were delivered Monday, were intercepted before making it into the sprawling headquarters of the Defense Department in Virginia, near Washington, D.C., spokesman Chris Sherwood said Tuesday. Now, somebody's doing a very good job, if you ask me, because none of these packages made it to their intended target. And I think that somebody's on the ball to keep that from happening. I don't think that just happened. It was either a divine, act that, kept these men safe, or somebody is really doing their job and on the ball. They triggered alarms as they underwent a security screening at the off-site mail processing center, according to the Military Times. Okay, well, that answers my question. That is how they were tipped off. A defense official told CNN that the intended recipients were Mattis and Richardson. On Monday, the Pentagon Force Protection Agency detected a suspicious substance during mail screening at the Pentagon's remote screening facility. Army Colonel Rob Manning, a Pentagon spokesman, said in a statement, the envelopes were taken by the FBI this morning for further analysis, he said, adding that all U.S. Postal Service mail received at the screening facility Monday was under quarantine and posed no threat to Pentagon personnel. The FBI said in a statement that as the envelopes are undergoing further testing, we will have no further comment. Ricin, a highly toxic compound extracted from castor beans, has been used in terror plots and is lethal in tiny doses if swallowed, inhaled, or injected. It is 6,000 times more potent than cyanide. If ingested, it causes nausea, vomiting, and internal bleeding of the stomach and intestines, followed by failure of the liver, spleen, and kidneys, and death by collapse of the circulatory system. Now, that is not anything pleasant whatsoever, and I hope that the person is caught, and I really hope that they are charged with attempted murder, because that's exactly what it would have done if it had gotten to the intended targets, and might not have just killed them, but killed everyone in their office as well. And I'm sure that would have made someone very happy, because yes, there are very sick, demented, twisted people out there that have something terribly wrong inside, really. And I also heard that one was sent to the White House. Now, I'm not sure why I can no longer find that information anywhere, but I did read somewhere, because I know I didn't make it up, that one was also sent to the White House, but it never actually made it to the White House. So I don't know. I'm just going on what I read earlier in the day, and now it seems to have changed. So I don't know that. I'm just saying, if you happen to read that somewhere else, maybe the New York Post just left that out. I don't know. But anyway, that is my understanding, is that it was sent to 2 people in the Pentagon and there was 1 person in the White House. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. All right, now let's go back and finish what it is that Q wants us to know today. Now, let's go up here, and this is pretty straightforward. He says, Save America, vote Republican. Well, if the Democrats, if what I have seen from the Democrats over the last couple of weeks is any indication, I think that there is truth in that, because I don't think I could trust any of those people that I saw in the hearing. The Kavanaugh hearing, don't think I would trust any of them to go to the store for me. And that is just going to the store for me. So there you go. Now, here we go up here. And here is the last one for today. And it's simply a number, 53 to 47, Q. Now, I thought perhaps it had something to do with Kavanaugh, but I did not want to go on that assumption without doing a little bit of research, and it didn't take me too much research at all to find the answer. So here we are with the answer to what Q wanted us to know. And this is my link, not Q's, but we're going to go out and find a stunning coincidence here, and I think that will convince you that this is indeed what Q is talking about. Okay, the U.S. Senate advances Saudi-guided munitions sale 53 to 47. And let's look at the Q post one more time, 53 to 47 Q. So I think that you will probably be satisfied that this is what it's talking about, as I was when I found this news article. So let's take a look. U.S. Senate advanced Saudi-guided munitions sale 53 to 47. And then it says, correction, this story has been corrected to add one vote. I don't know why that keeps doing that. I've turned off my notifications. It doesn't seem to matter. Correction, this story has been corrected to add one vote to the opposing party, making the vote 53 to 47. What did Q say again? See how bad I am. 53 to 47. That's what I thought, but I just had to check. Okay, because I haven't been myself lately. All right. I don't know who I've been, but it's been someone else. All right. Somebody a little less, just with a whole lot less energy, I guess. All right. Washington, the U.S. Senate narrowly voted 53 to 47 along largely partisan lines. Oh, surprise. To approve a $510 million sale of precision-guided munitions to Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. The sale's supporters, largely Republican, said opponents, in seeking to score political points against U.S. President Donald Trump, would strengthen Iran's hand. The vote was framed by critics of the sale as a rebuke of Saudi Arabia's activities in the Yemen civil war. Lawmakers voted down a joint resolution disapproving of the sale. Had it been successful, the vote would have been the first time in decades a congressional body voted to bar a weapons sale to Saudi Arabia. It would also have been a public setback to Trump weeks after he announced a $110 billion arms deal with Riyadh, a key part of his Middle East policy and first overseas trip as president. This is one of those things you're cutting your nose off to spite your face, and there are some, not all, who are using this to get a piece of the Trump administration's hide. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Bob Corker, Republican representative Tennessee, Republican, a supporter of the sale, said ahead of the vote, I would hope that we would rise above that and realize that Saudi Arabia, with their flaws, has been a reliable ally. There is no classified evidence that they purposefully tried to kill civilians, and in fact we have the opposite, and they already own the bombs, and we're helping them not kill civilians. Senator Rand Paul, Chris Murphy, Al Franken sponsored the resolution objecting to the sales because they say the bombs are being used in the Yemen civil war to target civilians. Saudi officials have denied the charge. Opponents of the sale also pointed to the mushrooming humanitarian crisis in Yemen as the war is marked by cholera and famine. Paul cast the vote as a referendum on U.S. support for the Saudi air campaign and Congress' opportunity to assert its war-making responsibilities. Should the United States be actively involved with refueling the Saudi planes, with picking targets, with having advisors on the ground, Paul said in a floor speech ahead of the vote? Should we be at war in Yemen? If you remember your Constitution, it says no president has that authority, only to repel imminent attack, but no president alone has the unilateral authority to take us to war. And yet, here we are on the verge of war. Opponents of the sale were buoyed by support from Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Foreign Relations Committee ranking member Senator Ben Cardin. Excuse me. Both lawmakers had opposed a similar resolution Paul and Murphy offered last year. So there we go. That is what this is about. And if you want to read more of that, it is out there in the news. This is from Defense News that I got this. And there are other news sources that will back this as well. So that is it for Q Post tonight. Now, he's still got an hour and a half, but I do believe that Q and Trump are busy with the rally in Tennessee, which is a bit of a concern to me, and I will tell you why. Because this is in the suburbs of Memphis, if I understand correctly, and Memphis was recently the target of the UPS was targeted, and 400 guns were stolen and have not been recovered. So I just putting two and two together there, I wonder, I just hoping and praying that everyone stays safe there at the rally tonight. And I don't know if it would be over at this time. Probably, I would assume, but I don't know. Anyway, that is all I have to say for this video. I will be back. I have lots of Q-related news and some other stuff you might be interested in too. So we'll aim for tomorrow for that. I'll bring you whatever Q posts there are. Additionally, I will hit on the Q-related news because, boy, there's a lot of that. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great night. Stay safe, stay warm. It is freezing here. Anyway, I don't know where you are. I hope it's a whole lot warmer than here. It is damp and very cold, and I have been feeding the squirrels like crazy. Anyway, I am the crazy squirrel lady. And people complain, but I can't help it. They're God's creatures. I cannot help it. Anyway, let's call it a night there and stay safe. Talk to you soon.